Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. You get teleport to the day you were born with all the memories from your past life, but you're now an infant. What do you do? Millionaire % speedroo. Apple, Google, Amazon, YouTube, Tesla, etc. Pretty sure time travel would be the most lucrative business ever. Ed, to the 50th plus person, Bitcoins would be packed of the Etsy. Loggle here we come. I would have a really hard time breastfeeding from my mom. Speak for yourself. I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Stop shitting and pissing my pants, cause having my mom or dad clean my Johnson and us is also pretty fucking weird. I'm afraid you still would though. They won't put you on the toilet, you can't open the door to the toilet, you can't hold it in forever. I've been preparing for this scenario a long time. Me too. It's fascinating. So what you do in your free time? It's kinda complicated. Just flip everyone off. Even my mom. They won't suspect a thing and it'll come off as cute. Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh look, it's the Williams boy. Feel like an idiot for not remembering any huge lottery winning numbers. But you remember that Bitcoin exists. Same. I'd be too young for any cryptocurrency or devices. Edit, read the replies. Thanks. Invest money, so I can do fun stuff from age 30. Do better in school. Make sure I still meet my wife. Oh, that's stress. Meeting your wife, that'd be tough. I think meeting my wife would be easy. I know where she lived and what she liked. Knowing me, forget it all. That'd be sad. In a flowers for Algero sort of way. Shit, I'd have to wait 30 years to hear these election results. I would tell people not to tell Trump jokes at that press corp dinner. Yeah, but those jokes were hilarious. I would cry like a baby. So would I, knowing what is to come. Pee on my dad. Funny, I would also pee on your dad. Funny, I would also pee on his dad. That's funny because when I was born, as soon as I was released I peed everywhere on the hospital bed. The only time in life I asserted dominance, I guess. Peaked too early it seems. Honestly. I would spend most of my time feeling very awkward about breastfeeding and crapping my diaper. Not sure I would want to go there. Potty training should be a pretty quick process at least. Speak for yourself. Start talking and people would absolutely freak the fuck out. I think with the body of an infant, it would be very hard to speak. You could think and get a giant head start, even plan your first words, but it'd take a couple days at least. Babies are limited by tongue size. Their tongues are too big for their mouths to speak for months at the very least. Well, as an infant technically all I could do would be cry, eat and shit. Not enough motor or language skills to do anything else no matter what memories I have. Yeah, you'd basically just be sitting there ruminating on all the embarrassing shit you did in your past life, which is basically all I do now, but you would have to do it between shitting your pants and crying. Plus, nobody would let you get stoned to escape. Pass. What if babies can remember their past life? That's why they keep crying, shitting and mumbling weird stuff, and then you start to forget these past events as you grow up. Can you remember anything at like age 1 to 4? Me neither, bruh. Figure out how to talk as soon as possible so I can warn my parents about the hip dysplasia the doctors missed in all of my baby checkups and make sure they do something about it before I start walking and my femur starts sinking into my own body, which is what actually happened. MMO. Wow, he says his first words. Mother, go to the doctor and let him check if I have hip dysplasia. For some reason I imagined that with Stewie Griffin's voice. 10/10 would imagine again. Interestingly enough, this is the idea behind one of the characters in Jonathan Hickman's X-Men series currently. Moira MC Taggart has the mutant ability of reincarnation when she dies, but she is born into the same life with the same parents and time frame but with all of the knowledge of her past lives. It's very interesting, probably my favorite comic book run in a long time. Sounds a lot like the first 15 Lives of Harry August, by Claire North. Basically the exact same premise, without the mutant part. I'd imagine this definitely is a major influence. I believe one of the arc titles was The Many Lives of Moira X, which seems to definitely point that way. Encourage my parents to get divorced much sooner. It's hard to imagine that conversation. Hello mother and father, we've noticed that there is obviously a lot of tension around here every day all of the time, and the two of you do not seem to like each other as human beings, so just putting it out there, have you considered not being married to each other anymore? Goo goo gaga. Mother, father, I believe it is time to suspend your marriage. I have sensed much tension lately, and to prevent any negative psychological development I think you two should divorce. As difficult of a decision this is, please consider my well-being, as well as your own. Also, I just took a big fat shit in my diaper and would appreciate it if you changed me before it produces an overwhelming odor. Probably have some form of internal crisis. You would absolutely go a little nutty. To have the emotional and mental capacity of an adult but trapped in an infant body with its motor function and no ability to verbalize would be bad. Then what? You're a toddler who talks and feels like an adult. Mom, what do you think about this midterm election? You would be studied by your local university and your parents would understandably be upset. Better to go back to age 14 or so when all of that won't seem insane. I'd deal with it. Yes, it would be like 2-ish years of crap, but after that I'd be considered a genius. I'd get all kinds of amazing offers to go to amazing schools. Even if I'm not Harvard material today, my intelligence in a 5-year-old would likely qualify. Stocks and everything else are just bonus. Get my family to invest in Apple and Amazon, and buy a bunch of Bitcoin. Also, become a world-famous oracle by being a child who predicts 9/11ths, and save Haramba. Save Haramba, but only predict 9/11ths. I mean, it'd be pretty hard for a kid from Europe to prevent 9/11ths, but predicting it, and probably some other things as well, would add an aura of mystery around me. Gotta make myself an oracle, so that I can prevent the death of Haramba by forming a cult. I'd see it exclusively as a second chance, as a do-over. A way to not fuck up the things I fucked up and not hurt the people I've hurt. Maybe start getting into my interests from a younger age when my brain is still working like a child's and absorbs knowledge like a sponge. Seriously, I wouldn't even try to exploit my knowledge of the future to make money or achieve world domination or help the Sixers get a championship by telling them whom to draft. That seems like hubris. I already have more than enough regrets to keep me occupied without needing to fly too close to the sun. TL, Doctor, a second playthrough where you know how to avoid the newbie traps. More or less the same here. The first words out of my mouth won't be mama or dada, they'll be one ring to rule them all, one ring to find them, one ring to bring them all and in the darkness bind them. Just grab your mom's ring and say my precious. I will write a book about the events that will take place and I will make money on it, or I will be put in a madhouse. Or end up in some CIA facility. Yes, from the outside, the only reasonable explanation is that you had a hand making these events happen. Or that you're a religious prophet. I'd be very close-lipped, and try to make predictions that seem plausible or general to not gain suspicion. Make a few predictions in the stock market to gain influence, and slowly start making predictions about geopolitics. For example, start talking about how the rising tensions in the Middle East will eventually lead to terrorist attacks on American soil. Once the events occur, with my large amount of wealth and influence from stock market and geopolitical predictions, I could start think tanks that would direct the American public towards important issues like online privacy, foreign powers influencing the election, and the potential outcomes of social media manufacturing political drama. Eventually, I'd hope that my predictions would carry enough clout to influence Congress, and prevent some awful things from happening. I'd save my mom from cancer, or at least tell her when she roughly would get it. They didn't catch it until stage 4 and it was too late. I'd use all the money I got from investing and sports bets to treat her and buy her a house. Hopefully make her a grandma. She would have been the best grandma. You're a good man. I fantasize about this scenario often, and after many iteration I came to a point where I was debating if the ungodly amount of money / fame I can earn is worth all the shit I have to go through again in life. Earning money won't be an issue, but as a baby it's probably going to be difficult to fully flex your information immediately. And even if you convince your parents to do so and get rich, you have to wonder if it would actually make things worse than how it was in your first life. Money does not guarantee a better family, and if your family was already not the best growing up, then I'd assume your priority would be to make your family better. And that isn't as easy as investing in Apple at the right time. Changing people is going to be hard, you might even make things worse. And if you were unfortunate enough to have a really evil person in your family, then I don't know if you would even want to interact with them again. You could change a lot for the better with the information you have, but now you're living life wondering if you have prevented that event that happened in your first life, and also wondering if the changes you've made will lead to some unfortunate events. Imagine a scenario if a loved one who was alive in your first life but dies in your second life due to the change in reality that you caused. That would haunt you till your second life ends. This scenario is ripe for being a monkey's pay type wish. Of course the whole thing changes if you had infinite chances at redoing your life, but if it was only the one go, it might not be as easygoing as it seems. Imagine a scenario if a loved one who was alive in your first life but dies in your second life due to the change in reality that you caused. That would haunt you till your second life ends. It's worse than that. If you've got kids, then they're almost definitely not going to be reborn the second time around. There aren't any therapy sessions for people who have lost their children to time travel shenanigans. You can get remarried to the same person, but do you tell them about the children that you had together in the other life? Do you tell your new children about their temporarily lost siblings? Maybe you can get married to someone new from far away from your hometown, and then you can share your grief of your lost children and just hope they don't talk to anyone and find out that nobody else in your life remembers your children or previous spouse and that there's no record of any of it happening. There actually are therapy sessions for that essentially. Some coma and trauma can live for years or decades while unconscious. There's even reported cases of people living years while knocked out from just a car accident. Imagine waking up right now to find out you were in a car accident on the way to your senior high school class. All your college and work experiences were fake. Your wife and kids don't exist. You're still 17. This has happened to people.